Is there a motion to approve?
Second with discussion.
It's been moved and seconded. Yes.
I'm asking right now on the previous conversation we had in the workshop to table the organizational chart. I also would ask that, we move number 3 down to council decision and move number 6 down to council decision.
All right, if, with those three, is there a motion to move those items? It's been moved, is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we move items 2, 3, and 6.
Correction.
Wait.
Number 2 will be moved to the next meeting, and 3 and 6.
3 and 6 go to council decision.
Yes.
Okay, so we're just gonna, so that's 2 motions. So that we table 2 for the next meeting and then move the other 2 to council decision. So that being said, it's moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye. Mayor,
Yes,
I do apologize. I think a part of that motion should include the presentation that was moved from the workshop
Correct.
to the council meeting.
oh, and citizen participation,
Yes.
yes. So 2 and, so do I need to rescind all of this?
Yeah, we can rescind and do a new motion.
All right, so the motion is to approve the agenda, tabling item number, bringing over the presentation from our 6:30 workshop, bringing over the citizen participation from our 6:30 workshop, to table item number 2, to move items 3 and 6 down to council decision. All right, so is there a motion?
I move.
It's been moved, is there a second? Moved and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. All right, now we're, the agenda has been approved, we're going to, let me quickly, Mr. Jeffrey has presented prior to now. The I-4 Ultimate Project is about the I-4 Ultimate Project came with $1.5 million that was paid to the different municipalities for the sole purpose of art to go along I-4. Mr. Jeffrey is here as the artist that was selected. His name came to us from the county, and they had worked with several other artists. So his name came to us. We looked at his designs, his ideas, and we presented him to the council. This is the second time presenting, so I'm glad we have a crowd so that we can see what he has designed for the town and his thought process.
Hello, thank you, Mayor, thank you, City Council, and for everyone that's here today. How many people were here last time when I presented? Great. So as Mayor had said earlier, and I apologize, I have black fingernails. I'm getting over it. It was Halloween and someone played a joke on me and I can't get it all. But I am an artist from Orlando for about 20 years. For those who don't know me, I'm going to give a quick, how long should I get this? 10 minutes? 5 minutes? Okay. And I'm going to go really fast. These were the I-4 projects that were presented along the other cities. I don't know if you've seen these along I-4, Winter Park, City of Orlando, Crane Woods Park. And this is all part of the amazing donation that the I-4 corridor had given to these different cities. And so when we were given this opportunity here, for me, I was really interested in being part of this project for many reasons. I've done numerous art exhibits. This is in LA. I did the work at Lake Nona. A lot of things in Asia. I just presented in Paris. A lot of my sculptures are 9 stories, 10 stories tall, all over the world. This is purchased by Richard Branson. I'm doing the world's largest heart, which would be 10 stories tall. and just been numerous projects. I won this sculpture for the city of Jacksonville, waterfront, and it's gone so viral that it's got a lot of memes. People have gotten tattoos. There's merch being made of it. I'm not making anything. There was a Halloween costume that was just made out of it. People are flying banners. You can pay $5. This 80-year-old man made a little replica of it. You pay $5 for a selfie. So the idea that public art, if you've done it in a right way, can actually become viral in a good way, and actually helping generate eyes and ears. And I've been honored. I just came back from the Philippines to design our countries. I was selected by my country, the Philippines, to design Art Icon, which is 28 stories taller than the Statue of Liberty. Now, obviously, I'm not proposing anything like this for the city of Eatonville with what we've been handed. But for me, it's not about how big you do it. It's really about the story that we're trying to share about what we think this should be. And that's really why I'm interested in this. It's like, I've been here for 20 years, and I didn't really know much about Eatonville. I feel like I drive back and forth between here and Orlando and Winter Park and just pass by, right? So how many times we pass by and we want people to come through to kind of tell the story of the town that Freedom built in 1887. I mean, that's a big marquee to keep up. Like, how many other cities can actually take that town logo and say they have it, right? And how do we do it in a way that we can sort of honor the people who help us get there, which are these gentlemen that you have also on your logo. And our initial thoughts were just, why don't we just go and call it a day and just do like a bronze sculpture of these men, like you just see these bronze sculptures. But for me, it's more about the idea of honoring, in addition to honoring these men, it's actually extending their legacy and remembering and recalling what was here before and telling people that although times have changed, times haven't really changed, right? And how do we get to a point where we can all be equal, right? And so obviously this is the town of Eatonville, the I-4 corridor, the town that Freedom built. And as I was going through discussions of what this really means is this idea of freedom. How do you share the word freedom? You have it in your logo and everything. So I really wanted to actually do this word, just say freedom. The idea that you would have this word freedom that is along I-4. And so people are driving along I-4 and see these beautiful glass buildings along I-4, and then they see these sort of high density buildings, and also past Eatonville, where the density gets lower in terms of building scale, but you see this sculpture in the air that says freedom. And people will be wondering, well, why does that say freedom? Like, I don't know what that means. It gives curiosity of what that means. And how tall should it be? And this is just doing concept. I think it should be 1887 inches, which is 157 feet. The idea that you replicate the height of when the town was founded, so that then also when you're driving, 50 or 60 miles per hour on I-4, you can actually see this in the air. And then how do you ground it? Freedom is not always what it's perceived as. So it's grounded to a base that has a pedestal, but the pedestal is in a shape that I'll show you that talks about what freedom wasn't. Obviously, this is the signing of the declaration of the town charter. We are going to propose a smaller version of this as a bronze sculpture to be part of the little miniature plaza piece to it, and then show what freedom wasn't and what freedom symbolized back in the day in terms of what these elements are that held us back. It would be grounded in sort of this idea of a seat wall that was formed in the form of a shackle. A shackle that was actually one that was closed, and then one that's open. And that this idea of freedom is grounded within it. When you have the folks signing the town charter up there in 1887, does that shackle still open or is it still closed? And that's sort of the discussion that we have to keep having. And the idea that this becomes like a miniature plaza and destination, but the idea when you're driving along I-4 that you'll see this in the air, and you'll see the word freedom in the background of the sky, right? And these are just concept renderings, so there's no materials and stuff, and that's going to be based on sort of our next steps in terms of like looking at the budgets and what kind of materials we can use to implement this. And then at the end of the day, as part of the budget, it's really about using a portion of it towards marketing in terms of working with people to help generate a story or documentary. Art is also about storytelling, right? And so using some of the money to tell about what the town that Freedom built was about and how this sculpture is being made and how the people of this community make it what it is really part of the art process. And I show these characters because, so I read, if you know, Lona Hendricks, she's a famous singer-songwriter. You guys know A$AP Rocky. So the fact that I work in Paris and LA and New York, I've been fortunate to meet some of these people. And so how do I bring some of them to our community to help raise and make awareness to the town that Freedom built? So, thank you very much.
Do you have any questions for? Yes.
Okay, thank you very much for that presentation. I do have some concerns.
Councilwoman, did you pull that?
Thank you very much for that presentation. I do have some concerns about the conclusion as to the town of Eatonville. And some of my questions is that the history of the town does not reflect shekels. We didn't come here with shekels on our feet and our hands. Those that were enslaved, they were free. We know that, and most of us already know the story. So I don't really admire your work, beautiful work. I just don't think for that type of work that you're presenting will be appropriate for the town of Eatonville. And the 100 and what is that tower? What is that, 150 feet?
Right now it's 118.87 inches.
Okay, 1887 inches. So how many feet is that?
150 feet, like 50.
Yeah, okay, that's what I had said earlier. Okay, now where would that be placed? Is there somewhere in the town? Where is that going to be located?
So two things. One is obviously my job as an artist is to work with the city and the council to figure out what the appropriate story is. This is an artist interpretation of the idea of what I think freedom was and is today. And the reason for the shackle, it doesn't mean it's a literal representation of what happened here. It's just a metaphorical thought about what freedom was and not was. I mean, we're always not physically shackled, but we might be spiritually shackled or mentally shackled or socially shackled. It doesn't have to be physically on the ankle. So this is me as an artist's interpretation, the idea of the concept is the town that freedom built. Now there's many variations on that idea, but this is the first pass at an idea. And as we move forward, and that's the reason for the next approval, is to move towards concept designs, working with the community and the city to get you actually what it is. So I'm not saying that we're going to go and start building this right now. There still needs to be time and thought and community support to get where we are. But this is just a start to getting engaged with a gift that we've gotten from the I-4 corridor.
Okay.
Can I say something along those lines too, just for council's gratification? That was the next part of the conversation we had with Jeffrey on that. While this is his interpretation at this point, we still want the community's input. But in order to start that process, of course, the agreement had to proceed forward with that. And I do want to know if there was a thought that he was from California. He works in California, but he's from this area here based off of that. So this was some clarity points. Those that had got a few calls regarding those items throughout the week, and I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that. This is not the final plan. This was just something to present, and then of course through a few stakeholder meetings and so forth, we can get to that final design.
Everything I've been doing to date has been on my own time and pro bono without a contract. And later in the contract itself, you actually will see that I've actually waived my artist fee. I'm actually donating my time to this project. Usually I charge 50% artist fee of the budget. I'm charging 0.
Yeah, I'm not finished. I know some of the council members may have some questions, but I'm not finished yet. Also, I'd like to ask you about is there a deadline for this project? Is there a set deadline that this project has to be over with?
We have to talk to the I-4 ultimate on.
Okay,
We actually missed the
Yeah,
deadline. It was like-
We're still the last one.
it was like
okay,
2 years ago.
okay. What was the deadline?
When I came into office in March of 2022, it was due June of 2022.
Because we had the funds for the project,
They just
to
had
do
to
this project. Just sat around.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Also, I was concerned about whether or not for this particular artwork, whether or not, was it advertised here in the town? Was it advertised for artists, or how did that work? The process as far as, you're the person that's working on that. I just want to know exactly what was the process for your selection for this project.
I'll explain it. So in March 2022, when I came into office, I was contacted about, they were getting ready to do a tour from city to city to look at all the art pieces. So they contacted the town to pretty much say, where are we going? Where is it? And we didn't have anything, because that's when I realized what the $180,000 check was for, because I did not know. So now we were under the gun to make sure we can use the funds before we had to give it back. So that is how the county helped us. They had already worked with all these artists, and so his name was given to us as someone that had been doing the work, they knew his work, and it was a great fit. So that's how we got the Jeffrey's name.
And it was more than $180,000.
It was $220,000.
It was 40-something thousand
already
dollars
been
missing
spent.
somewhere that nobody
It's,
knows.
it's not missing.
Not missing, but what?
Use,
It's
Use,
already-
did appropriate,
use for something else.
not for this project.
So,
Okay.
and further questions, Councilman?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I say one more thing too? The question came up about the location. The location where we are looking to put this will be at Wymore and Kennedy, which is on the Holders property, which we could get an easement to do this portion, if the land is not already, back in play at that time.
Well, I don't think we should be doing any of it until we get our infrastructure in place. We would hate to have something put up and then we have to go and take it down. The infrastructure for the road and all of that is coming.
That would
We
be
need to
included
take
in
that
the,
into consideration.
that would be included in the consideration of where it's put, so it doesn't go into that easement where that would happen. So we would just put it behind that just for safety purposes on that. But that would be considered, yes.
All right, Vice Mayor.
I was wondering, in all our renderings, that water tower is like a beacon of what Eatonville like is in the city. Have you thought about adding to that, maybe the light and freedom on top of that? To give the height that you need and the appearance and the that you need from my just asking.
No, and I might, so I think the water tower is an historic element to City of Eatonville. I don't want to touch it at all. Like, I want it to be on its own and then create another iconic moment for the city. And I'm not, and this might sound like I'm saying, so you know, when you go to the parish, you have the Eiffel Tower and the Arc de Triomphe, and you go, cities have more than one element to come and see and be part of. And for me, this is an opportunity to tell a story, but ultimately, a lot of my work that I do with cities, the reason why cities love working with me, it's about economic development. It actually brings eyes to the community to then want to be part of that process. You know, and this story is it's a tough story, right? I'm not saying I have the right answer or right solution, but I've worked in this field on a lot of different projects, tough projects, projects with whether there are a lot of memorial projects. I've worked on many memorial projects. But this is something that I think that becomes another addition to the city of Eatonville, and that the water tower needs to be the water tower, and this needs to be a new element for the city that then complements them both. It needs to become another postcard to the city.
Any other questions?
So, my discussion from the beginning has been, we're talking about changing the landscape of the town. I think that it needs to have input from the city. And I understand your creativity and all that, so who have you spoken to kind of your memory on your creativity for this project?
Well, I've been speaking to the mayor and some other folks just in general from the city. And then for me as an artist, it's really my own research and development and interpreting it and then working with the community back and forth. Usually if there's stakeholders or anyone you want me to speak to, as we move into this process, then that's where we actually start talking to individuals. But I had to do something and put it out there, right? And now ideas for me is to test the idea. And this might not be the right solution. I don't know. But I had to start somewhere. And the reason why is just because of the fact that I don't like working under, I guess I love, but the time was clicking with the I-4 funds that were available, and I didn't want to see this opportunity disappear for you guys.
Yeah, and I'm saying that, I'm just big on that, community input.
Whatever you want to do, if there's a way we can set up the different community stakeholders, if you want me to meet with individuals, stakeholders in this community, I can go door to door with them, have lunch with them, whatever you need me to do to have parties.
And administration, I stated this last time I came, that it should have been a community meeting before we got to this point. I don't like that aha thing, let the community come in, give you feedback, because maybe you came up with some other aspect of what you think it should look like from those conversations. So I think we have to have that other attraction piece, and I understand that part, but I'm just real big on that we need to have a voice in it.
And to that point, there will be those meetings before the final is presented and actually constructed for clarity. So we're still gonna have those meetings. This was based off of, and I came in the middle of this one, but this was based off trying to get it done. We're at the point now where if council approves moving forward with them, this gives him the ability to now set up some meetings with my staff and the community and see where we end up from where we started.
Yeah,
And so that's what.
and nothing against the artists, but
Absolutely.
we should have had multiple designs or multiple people that were able to give input on what, and then usually you have that creative moment where people can come in and say, hey, I kind of like what this artist do, I like this one, can you do a blended kind of thing? So that's my whole answer.
And truthfully, it should have been started in the last administration, to meet the deadlines. But we're here, we're gonna work with what we have, and we'll try to make sure we get it if everybody sings too.
Councilman.
Yeah, I just got one more comment about, I'm really a big advocate when it comes down to the historic part of Eatonville. And if we can have something, my idea, what I was looking for is something that reflects actually the founding significance of the town of Eatonville. And I give you an example. You have on the screen there a group of individuals at the charter, but the signing of the town charter, it was presented inside of a church. And that church is St. Lawrence. So, and I go back to the same thing that I've said for years and years. You can't address Eatonville until you address the signing of the charter, which happens in St. Lawrence AME Church. Also, the three men that made this town to be where it is, to lay a foundation for us to follow, was Josiah Eden, who's the founding for this town that was named after Lewis Lawrence, okay, and also Robert Hungerford. Those three. I like to see more of the historic part of how a town was founded, because we need to leave a legacy so that our children and generations can review and can follow. When we are all gone, those things will still be here to remember as to how this town actually started. And then maybe some of the other sculptures that you have, the ones that are very beautiful and colorful and kind of like liven up the town more, but, making it more of a heritage type display. That's what I'm looking for in this town. Thank you.
Okay.
Those are all really great comments.
Yes.
I have I'm at all. If we sit here and say what you like, what I like, what she like, what he like, it would be a mess. That's why people don't get involved when people doing projects. Because what you like might not be what I like. Might be what Councilman Daniels like smell like. That's why teams sit down and do projects. Because what you want, not what I want. It might not what, like I said before. Let's let people do the project. If you don't like it, fine. The man said he's doing it pro bono. The man can get paid. This is the second time here. I'm like, let him do the project. We all came here. We know black people came here. It was shackled. Go to Savannah, go to Charleston, go to those places there. You see these things there. St. Augustine, you see these kind of slave things there. So why Eatonville can't have the shackles, the freedom, those kind of things? Of course, the men signing the charter, it can say St. Lawrence up under it. Signed in St. Lawrence Church, Oldest Black Church in Eatonville. It can say that, but not say, well, it was in St. Lawrence Church and not get in the representation that it was signed in the park. We can do that, but let's stop these projects, man. I'm telling you, man, it just kills me. We sit up here and we just fight. We just can't get a part of this thing, man. That's all we do here. Because, like I said, we sit up and say what I want there, and what somebody else want, it'll never get done. So the mayor brought a presentation. We go with it, we don't. Point blank and simple. That's all it is. That's all I have.
Mr. President.
And just for clarity, the concept today is to get the presentation, get an idea. We're going to have meetings where input about what it's going to look like will allow his creativity to figure out how that all incorporates together, and we'll see where it goes from there. But the items that Councilwoman can be considered, but we'll let him kind of figure out how he wants to put it all into.
Everybody's points are valid, and everyone, the idea of listing a mission and goals of what these things should accomplish should be all on the checklist, and we could do it in every single way. And that's all. I'm actually here just to sign on to get on board. That's all I'm here to do. And then you can beat me up later after.
And also keep in mind, we have a budget for this. So whatever we put into it, it has to go within the budget that we already have designated for. We don't have additional funds, so we have to try to make sure it encompasses this.
Thank
So
you.
address, Councilman Washington, this is a discussion, and when you start talking about creatives, when Disney was formed, it wasn't just one person saying what they want. It was a bunch of creatives that came together and said, hey, this is what I want the Magic Kingdom to look like. This is what I want Space Mountain to look like. It takes creatives to come together to say what they want to encompass a total package. It's not about one person, it is. And the residents do need to have their voice heard. So it's not being up on the artist, it's telling the artist kind of what you want to see. And it may jog his memory and say, hey, I heard what this person said, I heard what the resident said. How can I now combine all that together to have a collective bargaining?
Did they come to the community?
They will come to the community.
Disney come to the community? Did they have a community meeting? Because Disney's supposed to be in Ocala. That's where they want to go first. Ocala.
So can we stay right here?
So they didn't go to the community. They just built what they wanted to build. And they stole people ideas when they built it.
All right. All right,
So what last thing I want to say is this is a creative community team effort. So for example, the part where I'm talking about how you form this idea of the creation of the city with the men and the church, I might not be the best person to figure out that piece of the component, and I might bring in another artist that's qualified to do that. I'm just here to kind of manage the process and create the concept and keep the vision there, and then figure out the right people to put it together.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mayor, you want me to switch out?
Okay, 1 minute to switch. Do you want to switch out? Or do we have another presentation? Okay, sorry. Okay. Yes. All right, just a quick switch out. We'll keep going. All right, we'll continue. Next item on the agenda. That's what we're doing now. Recognizing the Week of the Family, November 4th through 11th. In 2003, two concerned mothers met with Orange County Mayor, then Richard Crowley, to discuss strengthening families in their community. The Week of the Family was born. The mission of the Week of the Family is to strengthen family relationships through education, wholesome activities, fitness, and community service. So in recognition, I present the following proclamation. Whereas the town of Eatonville, the oldest incorporated African-American municipality in the United States, is blessed with a multitude of families, an essential part of the cultural, social, and spiritual fabric of our community. And whereas the town of Eatonville recognizes that strong families are at the center of strong communities, that children live better lives when their families are strong, and that families are strong when they live in communities that connect them to economic opportunities, social networks, and services. And whereas everyone has a role to play in making families successful, including neighborhood organizations, businesses, nonprofit agencies, policymakers, and families themselves. And whereas during the week of November 4th through November 11th, 2023, the town of Eatonville's residents should take time to honor the importance of families and recommit to enhancing and extending the special connections that support and strengthen them throughout the year. And whereas during this week, we urge residents of the town of Eatonville to join other agencies and organizations throughout the county to honor and celebrate our families. And now therefore be it resolved that the town of Eatonville, Orange County, Florida, along with Mayor Angie Gardner, Vice Mayor Rodney Daniels, Council members Theo Washington, Marlon Daniels, and Wanda Randolph recognize November 4th through the 11th, 2023, as the Week of the Family. And witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the town of Eatonville, Florida, to be affixed this 7th day of November, 2023. Angie Gardner, Mayor, Veronica L. Clinton. Let's be the families. Next item on the agenda. Citizen participation.
Yes, we have LaVonda Wilder. We have Louisine Cummings. Frazier Vincent.
Hello to the mayor and the council. I'm not a very good speaker, nor do I pronounce words correctly. But I am here to talk about Catalina Park, the park, the fishing by the lake. And I've been here all my life, growing up here in Eatonville. And the parking in the lake, by the boat ramp, never had a problem about it. If we can't park back there, we have no parking sign back there and no fishing sign back there. So if we can't park back there, we can't fish in our own lake. I asked the officer while my mom was in the car, and they're talking about we can't park at the lake. We got to drop our equipment off, go all the way to the parking lot, and walk all the way back to the lake just to fish. And then when we get through fishing, got to go all the way back to the parking lot and go all the way back to the lake. My mom's 76 years old. We've been fishing back there for years, parking back there, barbecuing back there, and all those things. Now, it's cut off. We don't know if it's due to stolen cars or whatever. Stolen cars are everywhere. You can be parked in the parking lot, just dropped off. And we just having a problem with that. I have a problem with that. Why can't we park at our lake and fish like we've been doing for years? We have the Mr. Coleman's. We have the Mr. Wall. All these people have fish back there, park back there and fish. We did whatever, catching our fish. Now, all of a sudden, we can't park back there. I need to know why. I mean, have people been complaining? My cousin lives right back there on the lake. She don't even hear us back. So she said, we go back there, we play our dominoes. We got people coming, get off from work, just go back there and sit and just relax. They do that all over. I want to know why we can't do that. Why y'all took that from the older people. That's all I would like to say. I know I got more to say because I know when I leave here, I'm gonna think of something else to say. But that's just me. I just feel like y'all taking a privilege from us that we've been had for years in Catalina Park. Now I know parking on the grass, that's a problem. Okay, we done had there's some people that live in Catalina Park. They throw a party. They told their guests to park in the park. We come up, we ain't got nowhere to park. So we go on the grass, that's a problem. So if we can't park in the park when it's already full, where do we go to park to get out to go to the park or go to the lake or go fish? It's a lot of more concerns that I have. I just, top of my head again, just think of all of them. But I just feel like y'all have taken a lot of privilege from us older guys, especially the ones that work and get off and want to play domino, sit out there and just relax. We respect our kids. We need a bathroom. We just sat out the other day, and the little kids brought their kids to play. These little girls and the boys, now they got to go way behind the tree to use the restroom. But y'all concerned about us parking on the grass and parking and fishing at our lake in Catalina Park that we've been doing for years. And this has been taken away from us. And I just feel that y'all just doing us injustice.
Thank you.
Mayor, if he can make sure he leaves his contact with the clerk, we'll reach out and discuss his first time hearing, but I'll get the staff and we'll see what's the resolution.
Keon McKnight.
Kevin.
Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't read your penmanship.
Good evening. How y'all doing? Well, touching basing on what Mr. Frazier was saying is that it seemed like everything is focused on us parking in the grass, playing dominoes and this and that, where they should be focusing on no water fountain out there. Kids playing basketball, kids, doing this and nowhere to drink. Then the restroom, like he was saying, kids, like I say, you got girls and whatever. I seen them go in the bushes to use the restroom. That is ridiculous. I work with Orange County. I've been 24 years with Orange County. I've been a lot of the parks, and I've never seen things like that where there's no restroom, no water fountain. I mean, but you got broken sidewalks. That's things you should be focused on because that trip and fall. Kids get hurt. One of the kids fell, skipped his knee up. But you got broken sidewalks, and then the playground itself could be raised up better. I mean, this Eatonville, oldest black town it is. Come on, let's make it worth our while. Like the gentleman right there, where the people could come and say, "Oh, I like this park. This Catalina Park where color folks at." But it's just, I don't know. It's just the focus is other places on cars parking in the grass. We've been parking in that grass for 40 years. I'm 58 years old. We've been parking out there forever. The grass turned brown in the winter and green in the summer. Come right back. So I mean, that's just what I had to say about that.
Lawana Jordan, who I believe has left. And we have Ryan Novick.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, members of the community. I'm here to speak out against automated traffic racketeering safety devices. A report from the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles, as recently as 2022, for the 5 years preceding, found that automated traffic control devices, especially intersections with red light cameras, saw in the years following their installations an increase in the following crashes. Rear end crashes ran up 11.4%. Angle crashes 6.42%. Crashes resulting in injury up 9.3%. Fatalities from accidents and incidences doubled in that time frame. Chicago, Philly, DC have all seen increased crashes where they've installed automated traffic devices. A Pasco County judge ruled on the constitutionality of automated traffic cameras. He wrote that impermissibly shift the burden of proof to the defendant and therefore does not afford due process, and due process is not provided. These automated traffic devices threaten the public interest in critical ways and should be outlawed across the country. Number one, there is no certifiable witness to an alleged violation. The defendant loses the right to cross-examine a witness and an accuser in a court of law. The driver is not positively identified, so the default charge is to the vehicle's registered owner. And the owner may not have been the driver, but is presumed guilty. And a bedrock principle of our justice system is that a defendant is innocent until proven guilty. The chain of custody of such photo evidence is suspicious and murky at best, shifting electronically between the private company that initiates the photo, the private installation of the devices, to then the local government who reviews it and issues citations. All in all, the data and the studies show that these automated devices do not improve safety and are at most about revenue generation, because the studies and the stats show that they do not provide safety, and it was already proven that if there is no speeding, they will remove these safety devices because I guess they were too effective at actually providing safety to warrant their continued use for safety. It sounds to me like they removed it because it no longer generates revenue. So while it is legal in the state of Florida for these cameras to be issued, make no mistake, they are unconstitutional. So in closing, thank you to my veterans who have served. I appreciate your service, and thank you for defending our constitutional rights.
Thank you.
We have Angela Johnson.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, residents. So the thing that I have a question and would like clarity on. So there's orange stripings throughout the town now. When I stopped the guy that was spraying in Calvin Park, his remark was they're gonna put in telephone lines. I'm not sure if that is the right response, but if we could please get some clarification tonight on what are the markings, especially if something is getting ready to happen that is going to also have bearing on a decision that you're getting ready to make tonight on the host dime agreement. The whole, I'm assuming that the host dime agreement that's on the agenda tonight is to move forward with reimbursing them the $200,000 that is stated in the contract, which means that we would be upholding one section of the contract and not section 8, which is the project completion for sale. Again, there needs to be clear documentation, clear comments tonight on, because maybe I missed something, but where is the clarity on, are those funds actually town funds, CRA funds, the documents that are in your packet? The cover letter uses the reference of an I, which means that, but the cover letter states that it's coming from administration, but it says, as a senior member of the council and someone who participated in the voting process for this project, I believe that it is crucial that we honor our obligation and commitment to the project. I'm not sure who the I is. And just recently, I'm assuming that Manny and Host Time is getting a lot of publicity. It's a $58 million project. What is $200,000? He stood before us and said that $200,000 is going to hinder him from completing a $58 million project. How significant is $200,000 on a scale of $58 million? So I would ask that you please take that into consideration when you're making your vote tonight. Standing here on behalf of Catalina Park and the community group that we have, we hear the concerns. Some, there are definitely concerns, and I would challenge us to please, let's sit down and figure out a best course for the park being, I guess, just available for all citizens, for all residents, that it's safe. I know we addressed the issue of the water fountain not being operational, the lack of the restrooms there, but let's also think about where the town is headed and understand that there is some grant funding available where we may be working alongside with each other as opposed to against one another. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
No, that was it.
The next item on the agenda is motion to approve the consent agenda. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Next item, approval of the Town of Eatonville organizational chart. Oh, that's been tabled.
The approval of the agreement.
Approval of the agreement with Studio Jeffrey LLC to design, fabricate, install, and construct Ivor Ultimate Art Project. It's been moved. Is there a second? I'll second. It's been moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Can I do a roll call, please?
Yes.
Councilwoman Randolph,
We on item what, 3?
item 3, that was moved down the council decision.
Okay,
Aye, yes?
no,
Washington?
Aye.
Gardner?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Daniels?
Nay.
Councilman Daniels?
All right, next item on the agenda. Item number,
So who?
No, I'm saying,
Who? What number?
same one we just voted.
Just let me know. That's going to pass.
I understand that. So what I'm trying to say is, man, this is, like 4, and I'll tell you the reason I voted nay. It's because over a month ago, 4 to 5 days ago, I said that the community should have input. And again, we pushed this along just to say we did something, and the community did not have time to input it in. So can we please put this out there so residents can fully have an engaging conversation to be able to get stuff done? And I talked to Mr. President about this prior to this vote.
I'm a little confused on how we do that, especially if we're looking to move forward with Mr. Jeffrey. He's donating his time. And so in order to try to maximize that, the hopes was to get the contract going, and the meetings with the community will take place before an artwork is approved. So the clarity that I need is, one, I hope Mr. Jeffrey sticks around. But secondly, if we're saying no to it, how do we get to that resolve? Because I think we need to have the contract in place in order to start the process of figuring out what we do, because we don't have any certainty without that for it. He doesn't have any certainty to move forward.
We don't have certainty with Orange County Public Schools on the corner of Kennedy and Wyoming either. So if that falls through, then what happens?
We already have that. We already got a sign there. We have the easement already there.
The
How much
easement,
space is it gonna take, Councilman Washington?
I think that's part of the details that will be coming, but we need to contract someone to start working all of those details out, number one. Number two, I don't know, but I'm looking at citizens in front of us from throughout the town, so we just received some positive feedback if their response was positive. You know, this is stalling.
It's not solving that.
It's stalling. So let's just move on.
So when did we find out that Mr. Jeffrey was coming?
He told us that months ago, last month.
No, they didn't Councilman.
She told him that. We set a meeting up, said you wanted to come back. Councilmember Randolph said it.
I don't really know where we're going with it, but
I don't know either.
the item was, what was it a 3-2? Against?
The results of the vote that just took place was 3-2, 3 nay, 2 yays.
Okay. So, again,
Let me just say something for a second. Okay. As far as the approving for the project, I am for that, but I'm against the artwork that has been presented.
so for clarity,
So that's where I'm from. I approve, I'm in agreement that we should go forward with the project.
so
Excuse
But
me.
I'm not in agreement of the type of project that's being presented to the town.
I understand that, but I don't know how we move forward from this, and I maybe have to receive council's instruction or attorney's instruction on this, because if I'm hearing this right, it sounds like this Councilwoman Randolph's response is yes for the agreement, but she wants to see a better scope for the actual final design. And I've stated that the design we've seen is not the final. The goal was to get the contract awarded to the artist, and he's going to have meetings. And then when he have those meetings, he'll present another piece back to the community to decide on it. So the thing that Councilman Daniels is asking for will happen with the process of the agreement being put in place.
Okay, well, why can't we just rescind this and table it until we come up with a design that would be?
Please hold your comments, please.
What's going on?
I think, I'm not sure. Okay, to rescind it and still table it is pointless.
Okay, all right.
But if you're gonna rescind it and you're gonna approve the agreement, then I can see value in that, if that's what you're asking. But again, that does not, approving the contract does not mean that you're approving the design, because that still has to be figured out, if you understand that part.
So if I could just clarify, the agreement does state that the owner will work with the artist to develop a design. So a design pursuant to the agreement is not set at this point.
Correct. So that's what I was trying to make clarity on. And so to Councilman Daniels' reason for saying he needs more meetings, the only way that would happen is if we had the actual agreement in place. If that makes sense, if everybody following me.
Well, then, if that's the case, based upon what you're saying,
Right.
and if I'm agreeing with how
It's
I
too
feel,
much
this
noise
is
in
my
the
vote,
audience.
nobody's vote but mine.
Absolutely.
I'm in agreement to approve
Interfering with the recording.
The contract.
the contract.
That's what I thought. I heard first, but the vote didn't reflect.
Okay, so then if we approve it, then that means that we can, as a group, as a town, as all of us, we can come up with a compromise that will everyone would be
That's
satisfied.
exactly what's going on.
Okay.
So,
Okay, we need the, audience, I know you got your comments, we're almost getting through this. We'll get with it later. Thank you. Hold that.
I'm here to do whatever the town wants. I'm just here to volunteer my time to, to create a design that you still need to approve. But all I'm asking is to, have an agreement to work with the city to get to that point. Because everything I've been doing now has just been at my disclosure. If you want to table it, then you're just fine, then you, I don't know if you're gonna come.
I want to approve. I think it's a great idea. I think we really
so
need
we
that
can rescind
in our town. But it's just the designs and things.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you. It's not my culture. I'm not trying to here to, this is your town. I'm just here to be a vessel for you guys. You know, and so whatever it takes to get there, there just needs to be a start point. You just need to go.
And that's what the agreement does.
Shall we do that?
So before you sit down, you'll be willing to use the water tower as well.
I can explore it,
That's right.
and then we can decide whether it makes sense or not. That's all.
Okay, so Councilwoman Randolph, if you would like to rescind your vote, then you can do
I
that.
would like to rescind my vote,
So then you need to do that.
based upon what we just discussed.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
So let's go ahead and take a vote again, just so it's clear.
all right. So motion to approve the agreement with Studio Jeffrey LLC to design, fabricate, install, and construct I-4 Ultimate Art Project.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So, we have three.
Do you need the?
Well, we have all council present. I have to document
Yes,
a
we have to have a roll-
result for the vote.
So do a roll call.
Councilwoman Randolph?
Aye.
Councilman Washington?
Aye, again.
Councilman Daniels?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Daniels? Gardner?
Aye.
Mayor Gardner? Okay. Okay.
Just for the record, just for the record, when you're silent, that is a yes. Yes. I'll use the order, yes.
We're gonna, next item, approval of resolution 2023, adopting the new purchasing policy. Is there a motion? It's been moved, is there a second? It's been moved in second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, number 7, approval of host dime reimbursement. Is there a motion?
I move.
Second.
It's been moved in second. I have a
Question.
question. So the understanding, I totally agree with one of the reasons that it came back on the agenda. It wasn't just because, it had been mentioned before. One of the concerns is that should that construction stop, and we're almost to the end of the construction, and the 58 million is more of additional cost is gonna cost to build a building, that was going to be an eyesore sitting in our town. So it just seemed as though even though we'll receive the money back, that we do need to help make sure that it is complete. My only thing though, and I still stand in the same position as I stood before, it has been clearly stated that the agreements in the past are done. But if we're going to give $200,000, the town must protect itself. So before we just give 200,000, we can't base it on an old agreement. We need to come up with a new agreement that's going to benefit the town. So this agreement, to the approval of host-side reimbursement, to me will come with the idea that we're going to have an agreement come back to the council for approval.
Right, let me give a couple clarifications on it. So the clarification of where this agenda item started was with Vice Mayor Daniels. So the information that was associated in the cover sheet was with Vice Mayor Daniels. So I'll make sure that's corrected for clarity in the future. So information is divulged. So when you see the I, that's where that's coming from. The portion, what we were bringing back before the council tonight was, as we stated at the last meeting, there, as you see in some of the information presented with this item, that there was CRA involvement. That was just for frame of reference. So the information tonight, the request tonight was to get direct with the reimbursement, $1,000 up to $200,000 towards the whole. That being stated, we have received documents of the work that was in the categories for that $200,000 has been received, and we have the invoices of completion for that. As the mayor stated, if it is the desire of the council to proceed forward with that, the funds will be, of course, pulled from our reserve to pay for that, and then a new memorandum or agreement will be set in place with Holstein on the stipulations of how that is to proceed from there. So it was an item to bring back clarity from council. Is this something that you all are looking to proceed forward with the reimbursement? And then we can create the path with our finance department on where those funds come from, along with the agreement that will be associated with it. For clarity, as previously stated, is far and beyond. So we don't have any bearings on that, and I don't know if legal has any comments regarding the stipulations of that agreement for council to be aware of or to consider in making their decision on that item tonight. The last part about that in regards to the actual moving forward of Holstein in regards to underground, none of that has begun. I can speak on that when I speak about the water main break in a moment in my closing comments. But that's just for clarification on that. There's nothing that started with this project regarding underground utilities for this. Fiber optic, I'm sorry, not underground.
Okay, in the summary, it says that the town attorney and the CRA attorney have reviewed and still working. So they still working on this project, this particular issue here?
They have stated, I don't know if Ryan wants to bring up from what Cliff spoke on that.
Yeah, I know Cliff did bring up a few issues. One was that the reimbursement is, what's required of that is verifiable third-party cost and expenses to the owner. And I don't know if those have been presented yet.
Yes, they have.
Okay. And then, there's a provision there where any other contribution not used to reimburse the owner for utility improvements shall be used to reimburse the owner for the entrance road.
The portion for the utility was well over the 200,000. So we had more than sufficient from just the utilities. While there was some right-of-way improvements, the portion was covered through the utility improvements for this portion of it. But I guess, was there any feedback on the actual agreement and where the council, any council on that portion of it?
Not at this time, just because I didn't receive any other additional
I
information
didn't either.
for that.
So is it incomplete as far as information, or
I don't think
is it,
there's.
are we pending information?
Yes, at this point, I think it is incomplete. We would need some more information on that.
Okay, well, my position would be that maybe what we need to do is that until we get the information to make this complete and whole, maybe we should table this again. We've already tabled this so many times already, right? So it's not ready yet.
I don't think it's a matter of it's not ready, it's just a matter of the legal
decision.
deciding on is this something they can, is this something the council, they would recommend the council to proceed forward with pending that the actual agreement that was set has been beyond the dates and timeframes that we set and established. So it just depends on, again, the purpose tonight was to confirm, is this something we want to proceed with from the budget from our town budget? We cannot use CRA funds for this. So just for clarity, which some of the information prior led to state that. That's been clear, we can't. However, the timeframe of that agreement that was set has passed, it's sunset. And so if we were trying to figure out, based off several conversations I've had with council, that they still wanted to proceed forward, and I needed an actual full, clear direction, so I know how to proceed forward with finding the funds first, or securing the funds for it, and then how do we proceed with what agreement, a new agreement or some type of new memorandum to support the reimbursement of this to the property. Or to
So
the
this
project.
goal is to move forward to prepare an agreement and to see how we can enter into an agreement that works for the town as well as for OSAP.
Absolutely.
But I thought the goal was to take it from the UP development funds that was given to the town.
Let me give clarity on that. We have a reserve. There has been funds given from different projects. Those funds are included in that. The funds will come from the town reserve, which is in there. So I wouldn't designate it from just that. I'm what's in the reserve is what's in the reserve. And so that's where we would pull it from. But it is funds available in there to do that.
But in those reserves, one is earmarked, one money is earmarked from different things.
I don't know if it's earmarked, not in the reserve. It is a reserve.
So-
So those funds are not earmarked.
So that escrow money that came from that development previously was just put into the reserve? Is in the
That
reserve
is my
account?
understanding that that's where it was placed. It was not earmarked. It was put in the reserve.
So
So my thing on this, and I'll talk about it when we get into reports. If this has been the concern, then legal should have had a proposed agreement, so we don't keep on dollars. We should have had a proposed agreement. If you decide to go forth, this is what the agreement is. If y'all decide to do this, here's $200,000. And if you don't, then this is this. So then we don't go back and forth. And I think this is where the delay comes in. We put stuff out there and then we don't have our stuff. So to me, it should have never made it back on here without having all the substantive information to go along with it.
And I'll take the hit for that. I won't put that on legal. I'll take the hit for that. It was just to get some clarity first before we started putting it all together. And then we bring it before council, and then council goes in different directions. So that was from history. So I wanted to be clear before we put all that in, because when I give it to legal, that's cost. So I want to make sure that was a good cost being used for the town. But if that is so the desire of the council, we can proceed for
So
it.
let me ask this question again, which I've asked before, and I still don't think I have that information. What is the tax implication of this $58 million? How much tax revenue will we get from the $58 million property in the town of Eatonville every year?
I remember you asking about that. I just don't know if we have that information. We have some projections.
that's also going to have to be based on what the tax appraiser
Correct.
assesses that at.
But we can still estimate that. That's still.
If you're looking for a projection, I'm gonna ask finance to get a projection together, and that'll be included when we bring this back, because if, from what I'm hearing, I'll have that as just information, but I won't know that tonight.
And then like 7.293% of 58 million, so 358, 300,000.
It's roughly that, but I'll get a full projection. Again, that's not exact, because it's still based off of the final numbers.
So are we finishing the motion?
Personally, I think it needs to be tabled until we get all the corresponding documentation and everything to go along with it, and we can bring it all back at once.
So if the information comes back from council, from our attorney, that he recommends us not to proceed forward, where do we go there?
And that's what I'm saying, like, why we waiting, why we just, that's information that you need from legal, so we gonna wait on them.
It's not that I have to wait on it. We can go either route, but I heard Councilwoman say she wanted legal's review on this based off what we talked about from them. So I just want to make sure.
Right, because we talked about this the last time.
Yeah.
We thought that we would be able to understand. It seemed like, you know, everybody got in the audience talking about lagging or delaying. Like it's delaying now.
I'll get clarity from, I'll get with the attorney to confirm that whatever the direction is from that, but it's really a wide open because it was, the reason we didn't get it, at the last meeting, if you remember, we asked for both councils to collaborate on this. I know Cliff has, Attorney Shepherd has submitted some. I have not received anything from Attorney Jackson. So it's just a matter of getting those two together.
But
At that time.
But I thought then we said we know that CRA per statute couldn't do it in the first place, so.
But that was what was brought. We don't need it.
So we don't need Jackson's input on that, we just need Attorney Shepherd's input on it. Because we know that the money cannot, and I don't know why it was done like that back then, but we're here now.
Absolutely. And so the clear path I hear, going, let's get the full response from counsel, from attorney. And then based off that response, we will present and go from there.
Do we need to put a motion on the floor to do that?
He was sitting right over there, and he should give an opinion, so I get with you on Monday or Wednesday or whatever, you are another council meeting.
He needed more
There's no
information.
resolution to sign. You know what I mean? It might seem like it's delaying intentionally to me.
So right now, we're in the middle of a motion to moving forward.
Yeah.
Even if we want Attorney Shepherd to take a look at it, if he says it's okay, and then we are going to want him to come up with an agreement that's fair for both sides again.
Mhm.
So even in that, this motion would be significant to make certain that that's not for nothing. That when he's not just spinning his wheels, and then it comes back, like you said, and we don't do anything with it. So we're in the middle of a motion to just approve moving forward as a clear indication of Attorney Shepherd and everyone involved that we're serious about coming to an agreement to pay the $200,000 if it works out that way. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yes,
I move.
that's what it was to move forward with the Holstein project allocation of funds for reimbursement of utility and right-of-way infrastructure improvements.
So, let's read that again now. The request is to approve moving forward with the Holstown project allocated, which means you want to move them, right?
Yes. But,
Funds for the reimbursement
so
for
think about it.
utilities right away infrastructure.
And she did give the other information stating that we will get the agreement first and have that approved by council. But again,
That'll be
based
more
off some
package.
of the practices, I didn't want to start the process with legal, and that wasn't the direction the council gave. So that's what I was trying to make sure we had clear.
So, let me get the clarity. We think it's best to move money before we have an agreement.
No, we didn't say that.
So read this again. So that's why that's the question.
No,
That's asking.
the motion is to give a clear indication to Attorney Shepherd that as a body, that the majority is saying, let's go forward with looking at paying the money for supporting the $200,000, as long as we have an agreement that is fair for both parties. And I think that was the main thing.
With an agreement.
Right, and if you agree with the agreement, then at that same time, we will have the transfer of funds where the account that is coming from, the account that is going to. So it should be all wrapped up in one package at the next meeting.
So basically, this should have just possibly read that we should be moving forward with council proposing an agreement of going forward with, possibly allocate funds. Attorney, you can jump in because I'm reading it right now.
Well, I think that's the issue with the language with the allocating funds in that in the title, which would implicate that, you know, this is an approval to go ahead and allocate the funds at this point, when I don't think that's what you want to do at this point.
But she can amend it. She can put amendment.
Yeah, so your options would be to amend it to get rid of that language, and you could amend it to approval of moving forward with exploring an agreement or something along that effect to make it more clear that you're not actually allocating the funds at this point.
All right, so let me rescind that motion. Motion to approve.
Motion to amend.
Motion to amend. Come on. Finish it out.
The motion is to amend.
Motion to,
Go ahead.
you You can go ahead.
Motion to
Motion is
amend
to
approval.
the approval of moving forward with the Holstein project,
Project allocating funds for the
not
reimbursement.
allocating, we're not putting allocating
Project.
funds in with the,
Project
right,
for reimbursement for
for
utilities.
exploring
and-
options.
Oh, Lord.
I'm confused.
Exploring options for the reimbursement,
For an agreement, exploring options for an
for
agreement
an agreement,
to then reimburse for the utility. Right.
So, the invoices
and
for,
right of way infrastructure. Pardon?
Did you get that?
Mm-mm.
All right. The motion is to approve moving forward with the Holstein project exploring an agreement that is fair for both parties to reimburse for utilities and right-of-way infrastructure improvements.
I mean,
Does that work?
That will work and it's been recorded.
It's to show good faith. A good faith. All right, that's the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved to
Question.
second. Question,
I have a question. This for the right of way or this reimbursement for utilities?
is 200.
So right of way and utilities, I mean,
It should be for the infrastructure. I think the original agreement was for the infrastructure.
It's the utilities and right-of-way infrastructure.
Right-of-way infrastructure.
It's not so much that it's for right-of-way, it was for whatever they submitted the documents for up to 200,000 in utilities or right-of-way improvements. Is that, did you follow?
don't they supposed to do something separate from right of ways? I mean,
It's not saying that they're doing it together, it's just whatever they submit for reimbursement. It could be from utilities or it could be from right-of-way projects. So they could have done utilities and not reached the goal, and they could have added in right-of-way.
so, so right of way be paid to who?
I'm
I
sorry.
mean, who's the person they charging the right of way fee to? The town?
Reimburse the costs.
But who they paying the right of way fee to?
They've already paid it, so they're being reimbursed.
Whoever the
Hey.
third party was that charged them. They had to put the infrastructure in.
I don't think, did they get to get the right of way situated?
That would be irrelevant, they haven't finished it, but that would be irrelevant because as I stated at the beginning, the utility cost is more than that. So they cover that max amount with just the utilities. But the agreement that was originally stated had that language.
All right, so it's been moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed.
Okay.
All right, that ends our reports. So Chief Administrative Officer's report.
If I can, I would have our chief of police kind of.
Please hold your conversation.
Yes, real quickly, I would just like to have our chief of police just give a 100-day update on, or proposed 100 days update for the council just to know about. We'll submit it in writing, but I just want to give him an opportunity to present to council.
All right, thank you again for your time tonight, council. I just want to first start by saying it is an honor to serve in this town. It's an honor to be a part of this great community. Myself growing up in a small town called Quincy, Florida, this is much like home to me. Thank you for all of your support at the swearing-in ceremony. And I just wanted to bring some things to light that we are doing, have already established in our police department. We started out with a mandatory meeting where I met actually each officer individually, and then we met collectively. And the goal was to give them an opportunity to understand their values, their importance, that they were necessary and they were needed in the community. One of the major concerns that I addressed quickly was making sure that they understood they were in a great situation. I would not just word it, there are some trials and tribulations, I think, of them understanding their real role here. And so I took advice of many chiefs and sheriffs around this Central Florida area on the best way to address those. And so we moved forward. We created 3 divisions within the police department. We actually have a patrol division, which will have a lieutenant. We have an investigations division, which has a newly promoted lieutenant. And we also have a community relations division, which is something that I did not see when I got here. Being that is a specialty of mine, what I do best is connections, which I think is the paramount, even down to the Carolina Park issue. I actually worked on that project already myself, and actually Mr. Sidney from Public Works, we have been communicating and talking. I'm going to be meeting with some residents about some ideas that I think can solidify. Can't guarantee everything is going to work the way we want it, but at least if we sit down and talk about it, we can address, I think, the major issue. I did not want my officers to make it that we were just going down there, quote unquote, harassing people. Growing up in a park atmosphere myself, I do understand that downtime is needed for people who work all week. They need that time to just relax. One thing I did implement that we're gonna have to look at, we need signage. If we don't allow alcohol, it needs to say so. If there is no parking on the grass, it needs to say so. So that it doesn't look like my officers are making up rules and regulations that the town wants us to go down and enforce without actual giving the opportunity for the citizens to know that that's not what is accepted. So that would help from a standpoint. Also, I'm looking at an upgrade of their use of tasers. The ones that we have need to be upgraded. I want them in a better position that liability wise, we're doing what we can to not have any, I'll just say, usage of it in the wrong manner. I want to be able to document it. I want to be able to keep up with it. I want to know that they're test firing every morning to make sure that they're utilized correctly. And I don't want them in an incident that something would occur that they couldn't be able to justify. So we're already looking towards that through a grant. We're also continuing a lot of community connections. I've been to probably 4 or 5 community events in the last 4 or 5 days. But I'm proud to be a part of this. Like I said, this is something that I love doing. If I can reach those individuals from our youth to our seniors, I do plan to visit some of our places of worship. Even though I do pastor, I'm taking one Sunday a month to actually visit a different particular pastor in this area and clergy members. Tied in with the school already. We visited for Hispanic Day, myself and another SRO, who I'm also going to get a lot of training during the summer as well. Proud to announce we're going to have probably 3 new reserves who come with probably about 75 years worth of experience from investigations to SWAT to active shooter training, things of that nature to prepare us. We deal in the win business, not the if business. And we just have to be honest that we are a town of importance. If you Google anything about towns in America, we will come up in some form or fashion. So with that being said, I do not want our officers to not be prepared. So we will have consistent training in those areas of responding to any type of active shooter or any type of mass casualties, all the way down to hurricanes, et cetera, et cetera. We will be having a records and an evidence audit, which is going to allow me to move the proper space to get things done, that we can have everything in a collective manner the way I think it should be. Coming from the big house of Orange County Sheriff's Office, I've got a lot of tutelage there and a lot of support there to get those things done. One of the major things I just want to acknowledge is that we are in need of some new vehicles. I think the ones that we have are in need of not just service, but probably replacement. And I've talked with our city manager, who's definitely in support of me as well as those things. We try to work those things out and down the line. I know it's a lot with money, but I'm also going to research through other fleet service areas that maintain the vehicles very, very well. That I believe we can probably find some vehicles at adequate prices that have been maintained at a top level. That we could probably get a lot of 4, 5, 6 years out of those as well. Uniforms, I'm very strong about how you look, how you present yourself. I think that's, if you look right, you do right, you act right, you talk right. So I want them to make sure they are looking the right place in what they do as well. But at the end of it all, I just wanted to let you know that my goal here is to give our officers an opportunity to reach into the community, to find those avenues of conversation and communication. Even if it winds up in an arrest or a ticket. I went down to Carolina one night when they had this issue about the park, and we had a dialogue instead of an argument. And I think that was very, very important. The gentleman that you don't see that walked in, shook my hand because we met that night. And I think that I got an accomplishment with that. That's part of what we will be actually make sure officers understand how to present themselves and that everything is nothing personal. It's just an issue at hand that we can address together. So I thank you for your time. If there's anything I can do or implement, please let me know. As you notice, there's a couple of changes we've done, and I can't say enough. Thank you for tonight. But you have to understand how important we need quiet during these sessions because they're recorded and because we are being seen across the world. And I think we need to acknowledge that. And so my goal is that you will see what we've taken out the table, open up security around the building. We'll be doing set-ins along all of our water areas, including the tower, to just get everything up to par. I'm working with our public works director, who's awesomely giving me wisdom as well. So we're on the right track. That's what I'm saying. So all I can tell you is greater is not on the way. It's already here. Thank you.
Thank you. And also our town clerk had a quick update on a few things on the space and then I'll come.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, and residents. First update will be on File Bank. We're in the process of doing our inventory, but we're still on the timeline for completing that process by January of 2024. And an update on the chamber project. As you can see, we have some monitors that have been installed. We're in the process of installation. Installation should be completed this week with our third monitor and our technology that will make us completely digital and wireless. So I'm looking forward to that. And that's supposed to be complete this week in terms of the installation, but there is some additional training that's going to be needed. So I'm looking at possibly the next council meeting, no later than the first council meeting in December, that will be fully launched. Looking forward to that and excited about that as well. Also, for those who may already be aware, this is a reminder that we are coming up on an election in 2024, and because of the federal presidential preference primary, we have moved our election to March 19th, 2024 for seat number 4 and number 5. And because of the supervisor of election deadline of December the 12th, our qualifying period is November the 10th through November the 17th, which starts this Friday at noon to the following Friday at noon. Qualifying assessment fee is $200 for qualifying fee plus 1% of the annual salary of that seat for seat number 4 and seat number 5. I do have packages. I'm not sure how the previous clerk did it, but the common or best practice is to do a 2-phase packet for the council for any candidate that's running for a council seat. So if you are interested, feel free to reach out to the clerk's office. I'll give you part 1 of that package and then explain to you what the requirements are to run a campaign for this election. And then also just wanted to acknowledge Vice Mayor, you're absolutely correct. Robert's rule, a silence meaning a yay. But for the sake of the subject that was at hand, we did a roll call on the initial vote. And so for consistency and because of the nature, I wanted to do another roll call. Okay. Yes, sir.
You say November 10th through what?
17th.
17th of this.
Yes. When we changed the date by resolution, that qualifying period was also indicated in that resolution that we did a couple of meetings back. But that's just an update specifically to the file bank and the call 1, which is consistent with the Chambers project that's taking place now.
Thank you. A few updates on our end. We have several projects that are underway. The roof project for this town hall HVAC has started as of today. By early December, the roof should be complete. And by early January/February, or end of January/February, HVAC will be complete on that project. The Kennedy Streetscape, landscape, and irrigation improvements is also started. That's going to be phased out into 3 phases. We're doing as much as we can in-house. As you can see, a lot of the older plants, dead plants that were along Kennedy have been pulled out for the first phase. We're going to start the process of tilling and planting back native plants that will reflect the proper irrigation out there, as well as the beautification for our Kennedy corridor. We're also, when the roof is complete, there's going to be some new metal put alongside, which will require us to do some painting on this building and the columns around the building, which will be improved, as well as seal coating the parking lot that's taking place. We did have a meeting or a session over at the Unity Bank. A couple of council was there, which was great to support the Unity Credit Union. Unity Credit Union of Eatonville. Christmas on the Boulevard is on. It's coming up in December, so we're going to have a few containers in different places that park at our Kent Johnson, as well as in the foyer here. And if you would like to bring a toy to donate for that event, it will take place in mid-December. That information will be forthcoming. There's been several meetings with Hungerford, with the school board about the Hungerford property. Some more meetings will take place this week, and as those details are derived, I will present back a full report. I just want to keep the council updated that we have met with, our attorneys have met with the attorneys from the district, the school board district, and we are working on several resolutions that we'll present back for a path to proceed forward with that. And also we'll be meeting with PEC to discuss their status with their project going on, or with their lawsuit that's going on with that actually this week. So we'll update the council once we have that meeting. Thanks to everyone that supported and came out to the swearing in for the charter officers. It's a great moment to reflect back on as a town, and look forward to great days there. Last thing, there was a water main break took place on October 31st. You should have received a email report of the new SOP, standard operating procedure, along with the incident report from that particular water main break. As I stated earlier, we have several companies that are trying to place fiber optic in the right of way. This was this particular contract or contractor had nothing to do with Hosted. It was another project that was being worked on. This is happening in a lot of municipal areas right now. Our public works director, Ms. Valerie, has spoken with other municipal governments that are having even more problems with the fiber optic being put in and not properly inspected or quality control on it. So we are working on something in-house on that with our public works department to make sure there's some isolation valves along with some opportunities to make sure we create a better process to streamline those contractors when they are installing the fiber optic into the ground. So, but that report has been done. I think our public works did a great job working overnight to get it done. We also tried to accommodate some of the events that were going on because of Halloween, so we made as many concessions as we can. But I do think our public works director did the best with what she had to make sure that it was done properly. And in that report, you can see the details of that and the reimbursements that will come back based to the town, as well as the payment for that project was in that report. That being stated, I think that's all that I have for today. I'm gonna.
Is it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Attorney O'Leary, do you have a report?
No, just that we will get to work on that host dime reimbursement agreement for you as soon as we can. I'll get to work on that tomorrow and get that to you. Other than that, Mr. Presley mentioned the meeting going on with Hungerford. I believe that's scheduled for next week, or we're trying to get it scheduled for next week. So we'll update you on that. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Councilman Washington.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you everybody for coming out this evening. I'd like to welcome Chief Board. Welcome. Now you certified now. You're official. Since you got swearing in this team. Y'all
Thank
official. I don't know what y'all working like. Y'all get check paid yet?
Yeah.
You got paid until y'all got certified. No. But yeah, some things we need to look at with Calendar Park. We need to fix. That's one of our major parts. The major part that we have here that people visit a lot and do a lot of events at. So we definitely need to make that one of the state of the art parks in this community. That's one thing I would love to see. So we need to work on that ASAP. I know it's money out there to get it done, so let's not wait till something happens. Let's make it happen. Then Calendar Park Trunk or Treat event went well, successful. Had a good time. A lot of nice little trunks was fixed up. The town cheated because they should have been participating. They won the event, so congratulations on them. So then the Chamber Trunk or Treat event was good. I participated in both of them, so everything went good there. And the other thing I had is we just need to make things happen here, guys. Sit up here, we don't get nothing done. Let people see something. We talk, but let us and our citizens see something that we have done. Infrastructure, like you said, the medians coming down Kennedy. Let's get that fixed up. The water towers, the annex building, the public works in our parks. Let's see something. Let's not talking about things. Let's see. Because I'm like that. I'm a seeing person. So that's all I have at the moment. Thank you.
All right, Councilwoman Randall.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I think we had a pretty good meeting tonight, very productive. A couple of things. First of all, I'd like to say congratulations to the police chief, and also we had a beautiful ceremony at the Life Center Church. That was very good, very unique. Everything worked out just fine. I have a couple issues here that I just want to bring up to everyone's attention. We still have an eyesore at the corner of Wymore Road and Kennedy Boulevard, that tall sign with the school board. I thought it was taken down, but it's still there. Okay, and also there's a utility box between the chamber and also Mrs. Kim on the right-hand side. That's been there for a couple of years. It looks like it's damaged. We need to call Central Link and have them to remove that box.
That's been reported.
That's been reported?
Yes.
Okay. I'm still waiting on several record requests. I still don't have those yet. Also, there was a little confusion about the water break. We were told that we needed to get one, then it was like we didn't have one, and then all of a sudden on Thursday, we were told that the boil water alert was until Friday. So we had people a little confused about that. So hopefully we can do a better job communicating the correct information so everyone would know in a timely manner. Okay. I have a concern as to when items are placed on the agenda. If a council member or administrative or is it the legislature item to be placed on the agenda, how does that process continue to stay with whoever placed that item on the agenda? How does that work?
Are you addressing that question to me?
Well, I'm going to probably yes. I'll address it to you, yes.
When agenda items come to me, they typically come to me from a council member or staff or department head. If an agenda item originated from a council person and it requires us to do further research and bring it back to the council, that item may be brought back by administration as a way of providing an update. So it may originate with council as they initiated the agenda item, but it may be administration that's bringing it back with the research and the updates that's needed from any particular request or ask at a previous meeting. So there could be times when an agenda item is put on the agenda from the staff as well as from the council member. Now, there's been times when a council member and the administration both submit the same agenda item. Well, we're not going to put the same agenda item twice on the agenda. And so typically how I do that, whoever submits the agenda item first, that's who I assign it to on the agenda.
Okay,
So those are my reasonings.
all right, thank you. This past, I think it was last week, the National Trust was here in Eatonville, and I spent a day with them. We went to Mayor Deming's office. There's a lot of things concerning the town that they're going to be working with the town, and also the town council, and also the mayor, and also Mr. Presley, about some things that we need here in the town that can help us as a government and also as a community. So I was very well impressed with the National Trust. Also, Mrs. Mundy had sent something out today about what you had just made mention about the right-of-way. Is it okay if we can have her just give us a little summary about what the conversation was today, please? This is very important.
Thank you very much. Excuse me. Thank you very much, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, residents. Just want to bring to our attention that since I've been here, the 2 water main breaks that we've had have been attributed to the accidental emergency water main breaks, are attributed, as Mr. Presley talked about, fiber optic directional drilling, hitting our water mains and our delicate water main system. Because we have a new data center coming in, a data center is going to produce data wires, and we are going to have an onslaught of fiber needs for the town, or fiber running or traversing the town. We do have a new internet service provider that's coming in, and they're trying to provide fiber to the home. So I think it's very important that we, not at this late hour, but in the future, we have a discussion to talk about their goals, because we cannot stop, there's laws, we cannot stop communication lines from coming through the towns. What we're trying to do is make sure that the expenses are covered, that they sign all kind of waivers before they come into our right of way. And we're trying to protect the town as much as possible. And we're looking to get that. We're working with legal to make sure that we can have bonds, hold harmless, and all the necessary items that will protect the town, so that we don't bear the expense of all these internet fiber lines that are coming through town. There's one, and there's one in particular that's coming in, and they are a joint venture of BlackRock and AT&T, and they're proposing fiber to the home throughout the town. So we are not alone. And if you watch the news, the Altamont has the same difficulty. They're using the contractor that we didn't like, WOW, in the past. And the WOW is giving, I talked to the Public Works Director in Altamont, every 3 days, WOW is hitting one of their water mains. So what we're trying to do is defend ourselves as much as possible. It's prevention and also accountability. And so if we can handle both ends, prevention side, making sure that they're doing their diligence in terms of getting the ground penetrating radar, making sure that they're not running through the town, and then accountability when they do hit a line, that they know in advance what they're going to have to pay for. So that's it in a nutshell. But they're coming in, and they're not the only ones coming in, because it's a data center. That's how they make their money, is fiber lines coming into the building. So we have to be prepared with that, and we have to know what we're coming. So I think a future workshop or something like that might be of help for all of us to understand what we are dealing with. Thank you. And by the way, we are working on a program that will make sure that, and like Mr. Cressy mentioned, isolation valves, so that we can isolate if there is a hit, we can make sure that those isolation valves are operating. We haven't exercised our valves in probably 5 years. So that's our goal right now, is to make sure things are operating and we can protect our system for what's to come. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just got two more items, but I'll make it very quickly. Mr. President, I just want to make sure that when we have these kinds of incidents that we had last week, are we getting our fair share as far as being inconvenienced? We have businesses that may not can function properly. We have the facility here on Kennedy for, a patient care facility. We have all these businesses, and even homeless people are trying to go to work. They don't have proper water, those kinds of things. There's something that we can, are we fully assessing the damages and the penalty that is costing the town, including the overtime that our employees have put in for like a day and a half, just being out there and doing what they're supposed to do? So we just want to make sure we got that on the.
And to your point is in that email we sent over this afternoon with the incident report and what's being collected back for the town as well as from the contractors. So yes, we'll definitely make sure that happens.
Okay. Last but not least, just to remind everyone of the annual Thanksgiving celebration, the drive-through community. There's some out on the table there. It's going to be on Monday, November the 20th. Also, it's going to be at the Denton Johnson Center, and the next one will be on that Wednesday. Mrs. Kim is giving the Thanksgiving feast. It will be drive-through only, starting at 12 o'clock, and everyone has to line. It will be a drive-through automobiles in the front of the Denton Johnson Center and the Boys and Girls Club. So those two events that are coming up, we appreciate all the support from the town, the mayor of the town, the CEO, and also Mrs. Katrina herself, everything that they're doing as partner with the nonprofit organizations. We have about 8 to 9 nonprofit organizations, and I still have more people that would like to volunteer. So I have a little list. So we're looking forward to seeing everyone at those two events. And it's for, I want to make myself perfectly clear. If you're Eatonville resident, we have turkeys. We are going to make sure, try to accommodate as many as possible. Okay, so I just want to make sure that I put that out there. So it's going to be first come, first serve. So when it runs out, it runs out. But we'll have other items that you can also get as well. Produce, non-perishables. We have breads, we have desserts. All this stuff is really good, and a lot of this is provided by one of the foundations that work with the Orlando Magic. One of the players, Markel Folks, yes. So they're doing a fantastic job to help the community. Thank you very much.
What day is on?
It's on the 20th.
Um,
Invite everyone to come out, including council.
Councilman, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Marlon.
Good evening, everyone. Couple quick things. First off, condolences to the Pringle and Wilson family. Also, I pray condolences to you and your family, you and our prayers, and then any other families that have condolences going on. First question is, I see the new light poles that's being installed down Kennedy. How is that going to affect the widening of the road? Because like they moved them up closer, so is that going to cause an issue?
It will, but it is my understanding that the county do not have the right of way in that portion where they're working already acquired at this point. So the portion that they have right of way acquired up is to Keller. So that's the first phase of that. Remember they did a presentation on that, but they have not acquired their additional right of way in that area. So everybody else is moving as business, requirements on it. So,
Yeah, because like they moved up almost a whole foot, right? Foot and a
5
half in
feet,
front of
6 feet.
and I'm sure when that's finished, they'll be moving back when they widen the road. That's whenever that happens.
Okay. I was just asking that. I noticed that. Chief, I want to commend you on Halloween of the water break. I went down to the water break and I was doctors riding And the police presence that was shown on Halloween Day was tremendous and it was much appreciated. All up and down the street, just to see police officers out in force. I think if someone was thinking of doing something, they changed their mind because of the amount of people that was out. So thank you for that. Water breaks, I know we talked about that. I just think we gotta do a better job on notifications. How can we get the updated robocall and text? People calling, trying to find out something. I know residents called, I think the emergency numbers chief and 911 because they couldn't get answers. So I think we just gotta find a better educated way of putting information out so residents know. I don't know, do we need to create a town magnet with certain key phone numbers when certain things happen, they can have it at their fingertips?
Our already has communication, we're working together on a communication SOP for that to make sure we have several options. I know there's signage that's going to go out, there's door hangers, and we're improving that. And the information as far as the phone tree is based off what's given from the community. So we just got to figure out what's going to be that best route to make sure we have the most updated phone numbers from the community. We'll work on that. That's included in the communication outlet.
Yeah, I know we post stuff on social media, but we know a lot of our more senior residents don't have it, or people not on social media. Thank you to all the veterans that live here in the town. Also, an opportunity, an invite for the entire council and anybody in their respective place on Thursday, November 16th in the town. We're gonna have a group that's gonna come out there, partner actually with the chamber, and it's Power to the Ballot. It's a national campaign launch. They're gonna bring their bus in. This organization and this push has been pushed by Ms. Alondra Benton and Melanie Campbell. Those two individuals, Ms. Melanie Campbell actually has been advised to the presidents and vice presidents and Congress people. She's on many talk shows and all that, and they just wanted to come and do Power to the Ballot. Got a call from them last week, just like, hey, you know, we want a place to go. What do you think? And I was like, I think Eatonville, because voting is key, and we sit around, we complain, we talk as much as we want, but we're not getting out and turning out. That's essential. So they're going to kick off the Classic weekend, and it's actually bringing the national. They have actually over 30 to 50 national and Florida organizations that's on the ballot with them. Just recently, this week, they had an article put out from them from USA Today. Harvard, Ms. Alondra actually went to Harvard and all those things. So they're very key people that's actually helping push the ballot. So they want to do a press conference on Thursday the 16th. And it'll be held in front of the chamber. The press conference will be from 10:30 to 11:30. A lot of national media has already picked it up because they said they're coming to the oldest historic Black town in America. So when that press release went out, they've been buzzing. So just give you a heads up. You probably have Washington Post, New York Times, and all of them will probably be in the town as well. And it'll be in front of the chamber. Again, council, everybody is invited. And then from 12 to 2, it's going to be like a fireside chat, just talk about the issues that's going on in the African American communities. And then from 4 to 6, they're going to go out and do community door knocks. They're going to go out and just educate people on benefits and different things as they were voting. And I just want to thank everybody for coming out. Thank you for the conversations that we had this evening, and look forward to the future.
Yes, good evening. President. Yeah, that issue with Holstein really touched me because it was important to me to see where we go, and I thought that should have been to the forefront. I thought legal should have been involved to at least give us some guidance of where we should be. You know, where as far as I guess I don't blame this administration. If something's important to you, for instance, I'm from California, and you do this, and let me just be honest with the crowd. I never did like his renderings. I thought that he should ask us, and I thought that we should highlight that water time. That's just my opinion. So we can get together as an artist, because he has his own interpretation. We can get together and talk and come up with something in the middle that it would be relatively representing historic town of Eatonville. I don't like that what he has, but that's his artist's interpretation. My vote was because I thought that's what the award, that this is what he,
Right.
because he didn't bring
Makes sense.
anything else. So I thought this is what his interpretation what we had to go with. So for everybody to say this, oh, you're the man, you're trying to handle her or something, really not. I wanted another perspective of where he could come from, to something that would represent. And from his first presentation, I thought the water tower. You can go back and listen. I said, you do something with the water tower. So people can get an understanding of that. But as far as the host time being put off, I think that's unacceptable because that's something very important. $200,000 that goes to business or, for the town. I think it's something that should be to the forefront. Ms. Katrina brought it to my attention that, we paid this light bill. And I brought it to your attention, Mr. President, and this Monday about the lights. We did a great job of taking care of those on the west side, but the east side is still on over by me. I pass by every day and I see those lights when I think about Mr. Katrina saying we gotta pay this light bill. And I know you're getting around to it. You took care of those, but those lights are still on down in the daytime. And that, maybe we can cut them off or maybe save town some money that way.
You know the location he's talking about?
Yeah, right, it's on
it's
St. Lawrence.
in the island.
Yeah, right there. I think that's the one that's on there, in front of St. Lawrence, that island right there. The boil water alert has been going on. I emailed you, Mr. Presley. Do we need to boil water? Because I was concerned. I had back people calls as well. And I know we have residents that may not know that, may not have been through this. Especially some of my staff that don't live here. The staff that lives here knows that, hey man, if the water goes out, you gotta boil it. I thought we should have got something out, maybe the news. Like everyone has discussed, I guess in our SOP this Monday, that's something we can do to make sure that we're on it. Let our residents know to boil water after we have the water break. My apologies for not making the vote ceremony. Had a schedule change in there. I did, but it was just tiring. I couldn't. I wanted to be there. Send email to Ms. King. Congratulations to y'all. I think this is our first oath ceremony.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. As long as I've been here, this is our first. So maybe it's something we can keep going and, there's elected, officers or staff, and we can have some going. So I appreciate y'all. Please accept my apologies for not making it. Also, I want to give kudos to the chamber for their bike safety on Saturday on behalf of C3 in the historic town of Eatonville and University of Kings in Queens Motorcycle Club. We bought hot dogs and we purchased a bike. We also purchased a helmet for the kids, but there was an organization there. I got some stuff that they were doing free helmet fittings. I think we created about maybe 30 people, old and young, with new helmets. So that was great for our community, and they wanted to be involved. They had lights for your helmets, lights for your arms when you're running, so it promotes safety when you're running and jogging on the street. I also want to give kudos to the Lights in the Church. Had an awesome time at your festival as well. We thought that the University were going to be there to get bike rides, but because of liability reasons, you guys just wanted to do a photo op. We had fun. We look forward to doing more community involvement with the University of Kings and Queens and those types of clubs. I want to thank you and give kudos to Aston for being next year. If you haven't, we're going to have it again, and also for the chamber. While we're on that tip, Ms. King, I want to thank you for your awesome job that you've done. The resolutions that you get out at short notice. I want to say thank you. I want to thank you for the resolution for Ms. Hill. Commissioner Hill is going to speak at the Veterans Program. Got an email from the chaplain that she overcommitted, but I'm still going to get it anyway. You did it, so I'm going to get it and make sure that she gets that. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you do as far as getting our resolutions at the time and manner, and the wording is just perfect. So I want to thank you for that. I want to thank the police officer also for scanning. I went to a poplar, and I think Chief Chief, I told them how they were really on that by having them scan and make sure that you present this safe haven here in our chamber. So I want to thank you for taking that serious and having us scan and coming in. Also, I want to acknowledge our veterans program that we're going to have. This is our maybe 8th or 9th one that we partnered with the Post 331, the Legion. And Saturday at 11 o'clock, we're going to have it's going to start at 10, but we're going to start the ceremony at 11. Like I said, Ms. Regina Hill was supposed to be Commissioner Hill, but she over-obligated. She's going to make the Veterans Day Parade in Orlando. But we're still going to go on with our program. At 10 o'clock, the officers come out with clean drapes and they make flags. And then they have a ceremony where they read some sayings from their posts. And we have the national anthem will be sung by Lane's community girls group led by Lisa Williams. So we're going to come out and just support the veterans. I appreciate it. And I think that's all that I have, and have a great day.
Vice Mayor, you have a new chief that's a veteran that may be a stand-in speaker if you need one.
That's what I was thinking.
I just nominated him, he didn't know it.
Like I said, y'all didn't send that email, but
I was thinking the same thing.
if it's not, if I'm not imposing, if you can shoot, you say you want to be there, I can get with the chaplain and we can put you on program just to say a couple of words, because.
Whatever the mind is yours.
All right. We're there by 11, and we're usually done by 11:30, and then they go meet their folks.
Yes, sir.
I will get the chaplain and then know that we have our chief, Mary, Stevie, a brief message to the veterans.
I got you covered.
All right, I appreciate you. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'll make it quick. Beautiful ceremony. Welcome, Chief. Trunk or treat events and all the events around town were very nice, always brightens up the town. Happy anniversary to Pastor Critton for 18 years at that tequila. Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans. Thank you, Mr. Presley and staff, for everything that you are doing. There is definitely a difference, and it is improving, and I appreciate it. I do have one question. You mentioned a proclamation. Did I sign the proclamation?
What do you, proclamation for?
The proclamation for
It's in the resolution.
the resident.
Resolution for her speaking, but Ms. King usually does a.
You talking about for Regina Hill?
Yes.
Commissioner Regina Hill, he always does a resolution for the veterans event, the veterans program.
All right.
Nothing beyond that.
Other than that, everyone have a great, thank you for council for moving forward with the art project so we can finally get our piece. I think that whatever we come up with, it is going to shine as people, hopefully they can see it from our forms. That's what it's about, and it will just mark a difference for our town and make us pop. So, everyone have a great evening. Oh, wait. Please, condolences, Pastor Critton's and family. Miss Mayola Jones, we lost. Miss Hattie Castell, Miss Castell, and you already mentioned the funeral family. So definitely, please keep them in your prayers. With that in mind, I move for adjournment. It's really this. Is there a second?
Second.
Move the second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. It's 9:39, meeting is adjourned.
Yes, ma'am.
I did this, push this.
It was. I don't know why.
It was when I first came.
Well, the good thing about it, we'll have this done by the next meeting or the one after. So,
Love to see it.
yes.
Love to see it.
Yeah, you see progress, right? Yes, so. I did do